All right, there it is. Cool. So yeah, it's pretty short. So the first thing they want us to talk about is like, what are the root problems in the case? So from what I could see, I just thought that Cardulo he was bipolar. He just was like, he would tell Turner that he wanted Turner to run his own division, kind of not like be very involved, only be involved in the bigger aspects. But over time, I felt like that all changed. The more that Turner disagreed with him, Cardulo, or however you say his name, wanted to be involved more and kind of micromanage more, which is what I felt caused the communication issues between the two. So those are kind of like just a couple things that I saw. What did you guys see?
I'm bipolar. I think Cardulo is just a jerk.
Yeah.
I don't think they're the same thing.
Yeah, I think that maybe what he said he wanted and what he actually wanted were two different things, because like you said, he said he was gonna let Turner have some leeway and stuff, but then he seems to have changed his mind, or that really wasn't what he intended for. And I kind of wonder if some of these issues might have been going on before, because maybe there was a reason why he didn't introduce Turner to a bunch of people right off the bat. So maybe he did have some problems before Turner showed up even. That might have, there were just a couple of things in the case that kind of made me wonder if this wasn't a new thing that only involved Turner. But
yeah, that's true.
I think Turner wasn't managing up like Sister McHenry talked about in her video. He wasn't looking at what his boss's needs were. And even though Cardulo had said that, there wasn't any pressure to get MLI up and making money right away, it actually, there was a lot of pressure on Cardulo because he had been the only one in upper management that really pushed for them to acquire it. And so he had something to prove to the other people. And I think that was something that I don't know if Jamie wasn't aware of it or if he just didn't consider it. But I think that was a big part of it. I think Cardulo really did want to have somebody in there that could take over and pretty much run things. But when Jamie didn't get stellar results the first couple of months, then Cardulo started to get worried and started pulling stuff back because he felt like his reputation was on the line.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Any other comments that you think on the other problems in the case? The root problems, I guess.
Okay. I think that Turner owes Julie, I want to say her name is.
Julie Chin.
Yeah, I think he owes her an apology, honestly. He kind of went in there guns blazing when she talked to Cardulo about her, and I think he catch a lot more bees with honey or flowers or whatever than, I'm mixing my metaphors here. Anyway, I think when you're nice, it goes a lot further than when you kind of go in there and start throwing elbows. So, if he had a problem with Julie talking to Cardulo, he just needed to go in there and say, hey, if you've got a problem with my performance, I would really appreciate it if you took it up with me. And I think it's important that we work well together. And anyway, I think he could have approached that a lot better than going in there and being sour.
Yeah, he was a bit childish with that one.
Yeah, I agree. That's something I think that in between Mr. Turner and Cardulo, I think that's something that they could do too, is kind of talk about things in more civilized manner, without like raising their voices, just kind of talk amongst each other about, hey, this is what you're doing that's kind of making, me upset. This is what I feel, you could do to improve, and just kind of reciprocate back and forth to each other. I think that would really improve the overall morale between the two. So, so the next thing, it says, how did Turner get himself into this predicament? What is going on for Cardullo?
I was having a hard time from the case to really know what was going on with Cardullo. It didn't really, I didn't feel like it really told his side of the story as much, unless, like Denise, it could be what Denise is saying, or it could be, my other thought was maybe he was having some personal struggles that nobody was aware of, that was making him kind of sometimes seem one way and another time seem another way. I didn't really know that the case told what was going on with him.
I think Denise is right that Cardullo didn't really give Jamie clear expectations.
True, yeah.
I think that definitely could have been handled better. And Leah, I think you're right. He could have had some kind of outside factor playing into this. Like maybe he had troubles going on with his own boss, and so he was a jerk to the people reporting to him.
Right. Or maybe he was going through a divorce or health problems, or I don't know. Yeah, it just seemed like there was a little bit more to the story than we were hearing. I kept thinking that the case, as I read through the case, I kept thinking it was going to be more about what Jamie wasn't doing right. And there were a few things of that he could have done better, obviously, but it just seemed like there was a lot about Cardullo, but it didn't really give a background of, from his standpoint, of why he was acting that way. I was hoping there was going to be like a conclusion.
Yeah. And like Denise said, it would be a lot of pressure, like doing two jobs thousands of miles apart and kind of being expected in both places.
Right, but then he wasn't willing to let go.
Right.
Either.
Right.
So maybe he didn't know what he wanted either.
Problems from all sides.
Right.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure. I didn't really understand either. Was he like in the process of retiring and going somewhere else, or was he just going to retire? I was really confused with what he was doing.
I got to, from what I read, it sounded like that he was the one who convinced the company to take over MLI, and so he was acting as a steward over MLI until a replacement could be found. So in that time, he was doing part of the week at MLI, and the other part of the week was somewhere else. I can't remember where. And so it was just supposed to be temporary for Cardullo to be that involved in MLI, which was probably why in the interview he insinuated to Turner that eventually he might take his spot. But then, of course, once things got going, it seemed like Cardullo changed his mind. Maybe this was his pet project and he didn't want somebody else coming in and taking over. I don't know.
Okay, that makes more sense. Cool. All right. Next thing, this is, what did Pat Cardullo and Jamie Turner each initially bring to the situation at MLI that would seem to ensure success or failure? Let's see, I can't really remember what I put for this.
I put that Cardullo seemed to have a desire to have somebody to help take over his responsibilities, that he believed strongly in management by objectives and thought good communication was important, although later it didn't seem to be the case. And then Turner brought his own knowledge, experience, and willingness to work. And together those should have made them successful, but then also Cardullo's behavior not matching up with what he originally said caused it to be more negative. And then, some of the disrespectfulness of both of them caused some deterioration of the relationship too. And I guess we kind of saw some signs that Turner may not have been as much of a fighter, or have as much stick-to-itness as he should have, just based on some of his internal thoughts about, oh, I should have just stayed where I was instead of switching to a job that is difficult. So that made me think of that as one of his negatives.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let's see. What did... So something that I thought, also, like, I thought the same thing. I thought Cardo at the start really put on like a good face of like, this is the way he wanted the company to be ran and like the division or whatever. And I thought Turner had good ambition to do so, but I think, so I felt like they both had a good attitude right at the very start. And then where I thought that the failure started to come in, I first originally thought it came in to deal with the guy, Brian Kelly or something Kelly, where Cardulo wanted him fired. And once Turner got to know Kelly, he thought that he was a great asset to the team and that he could actually help out quite a bit with his experience. So once those two didn't start to agree on those things, I think that's when it started to kind of fall apart a little bit. Another thing that I thought was like kind of to create issues and like the failure within the company was like once Turner wanted to discuss about the financial side, it sounded like financially it was a little shaky. Turner wanted to be more realistic about things, whereas Cardulo, he just wanted to do what he wanted to do. So that's kind of what I thought.
Cardillo was a big picture guy, but expected his reports to have the facts and figures at their fingertips. It's true. There was a lot of him expecting them to have immediate answers for him and not giving them the opportunity to look them up.
Yeah, that's true. So it says, what were the key choices points where either of them could have done things differently? I don't know. I just thought that every time that Cardulo, it sounded like he like shared something. I always thought that Turner was just trying to always find like a better solution. So I felt like that kind of annoyed Cardulo. I thought that like Turner would just never just flat out just agree with Cardulo, and that I think got underneath Cardulo's skin is because Turner was always looking for a better route, which is good. Like he's always looking for another way, but I think there's more than one way to complete things. So I think that was another thing that I feel like Turner could have done a little bit differently.
It looks like Denise has put hers on the side here.
Where are you guys reading that?
It's on the group chat on the side. You don't see it? If you click, maybe you have to click the blue box on the left.
Okay. Oh.
I just see it when it pops up above her face because I don't have the group chat open.
Oh.
I don't know how to open that. Oh, there it is.
My screen's being weird. I think that's probably why. There it is. Oh, yeah, she's had a lot of comments. That's good. So she says, I think he was looking for their opinions, their analysis of the facts and figures they had looked up. He should have picked up on Julie's attitude with Cardulo. I agree. Because Julie and Cardulo, they were pretty close, weren't they?
It seemed like it. Wasn't she the person that the recruiter said that he was close to his assistant person, whatever? I don't remember what her title was, but
she kind of seemed like Cardulo's yes man.
Yeah.
Sure. Cool. Okay, and then the last thing it says to talk about, it just says to what does everybody like? How, if all, should Turner approach Cardulo at the end of the case? So one thing that I thought that he should do is, like I kind of mentioned before, is that I feel like Cardulo and Turner need to pull each other aside in private and say, and kind of have like a companionship inventory. Say, hey, these are your strengths. This is what I like. These are some things that I feel like you could work on, and kind of exchange those between each other, and then just leave on like obviously on a good note. But I think that would just heal the communication issues that are going on between the two. So that's my thought.
Yeah, I thought that just looking at what Sister McHenry had shared for this week and some of the stuff we've learned throughout the semester, that Turner needs to make sure he's focusing on the problem and not necessarily on what Cardulo is doing wrong, which would make him, more upset. And then share his concerns with how somehow he's not doing the job that Cardulo envisioned him doing, and just ask him how he could do better, and just to kind of somehow manage to get an open discussion going about what they can do to improve the situation between them so that they can be more successful. Because if they keep the way they are, they're not going to be successful, and the company's not going to be either. So hopefully that would help. But, given the past track record, I kind of wonder, though, if Cardulo would, talk and agree to whatever during that meeting, and then later he may not, his behavior may not align with whatever he says. But maybe if they could get an open dialogue going, then he would find out what is the deal with Cardulo, what's causing him to act this way, and that might be helpful too.
Yeah, that's a good one. So Denise said, let's see here. I think Julie and Turner worked well together at first, but then she always sided with Cardulo, even when she had expressed opposite ideas with Turner. I think that Turner is going to need to apologize to Cardulo and then try to build the dialogue likely. That's true. Cool. All right. Well, is there any more comments?
There's no end of the case to share with us. I wanted to know what happened.
Right?
It always says in the case, you now see the big picture, the whole picture. And I'm always confused by that line, because I'm like, really? Is there another link I'm missing? Because there's no ending to this.
I know, I hate when there's no resolve on these.
Yeah, I'm like, what's the result? I want to know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything on like the group leader thing. It just has those basic bullet points, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So cool.
All right.
Alrighty. Well, if there's no more comments, then I'll just stop the broadcast or whatever, and then I'll send it out to you guys and put it online there.
Okay, for next week, it sounds like all of us can meet in the evening at 7, hopefully. Or I guess that would be, yes, 7 Mountain Time, which is 8 my time. What evening would be better for you guys?
Probably Monday or Tuesday for me.
Okay, I could make either one of those work if one of those works for everyone else.
Yeah, me too. Either day works.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter.
Who's the leader?
It'll be Denise. Hopefully she has her voice back, or hopefully she's feeling better, since she was the only one who hadn't done it twice. But if she can't do it, then one of us can do it. She said, should we check with Heather? I guess we could tell Heather that we all agreed either Monday or Tuesday would work, and let her choose, since she's the one with the bigger conflict, it sounds like.
Yeah, that could work.
Okay. I can send that email if you want.
Okay.
All right.
Already sounds good. Thanks for coming, everybody.
All right. Talk to you later.